we as a company found a way is to basically short circuit this long, tedious, and dependent on what you are eating and what your gut microbiome is constituted of.
Yes.
We decided to basically provide the gut metabolite directly as a nutritional supplement,
Yes.
as a advanced nutrition product. Hello.
Hi, Dr. Singh, how are you?
I'm doing very well. How are you, Serena?
I'm great. Would you do me a favor and just make sure the volume is turned up all the way on your device? Because we want to make sure when we go through the recording, we get all this amazing information, not just about you, about timeline, about Mitopure.
Yeah.
Okay.
All good.
Okay, cool. All right, you guys. So I know that people are still coming on and joining, but we're going to get started in a couple of minutes. I've talked a little bit about Dr. Singh. Actually, Dr. Singh, if you could give us just a little bit of a brief intro on you and your background, it's something that my audience really enjoys. And I personally love, knowing a little bit about your journey to take us to where you are now.
Sure. I'm trained in internal medicine, medical doctor, then moved to the US, trained in immunology. And I felt like a lot of medical doctors, there's also in the medical curriculum, there was not a lot of education about nutrition. And so I got interested in the nutrition and really figuring out how natural compounds can give health benefits. Moved over to Switzerland, worked a few years and, running clinical trials around probiotics and prebiotics, and then got involved with Timeline Nutrition and the parent company Amazentis. And the whole vision was really at the start, and we've been at it for 15 plus years, to be sort of a tech company that was disrupting nutrition, right? So we would bring this biotech approach, this really deep analysis of biology into how natural compounds are present in food and diets, that we are consuming and how they can impart health benefit. And so we started deconstructing the pomegranate about 15 years back, really looking inside a pomegranate. So we went and we looked at pomegranate from around the world, and really doing a deep dive. And there are hundreds of beneficial compounds in pomegranates that we started looking at. And one of them that really intrigued us is what we are discussing is a compound called Urolithin A that is not present in the pomegranate, but it is derived from, let's say, the polyphenol, the oxidants present in the polyphenols, and these are then digested by the gut microbiome to release this molecule in our body, and this has some amazing health benefits.
Yeah, and I'm so glad you really highlighted that, Dr. Singh, because I think there's a little bit of confusion for people out there because there's the association to the pomegranate. They think it's from this. And so if you could just repeat that part, that's what's so key here and what's so key about Mitopure, and about this product that you're creating, and why people can't just go and eat a bunch of pomegranates, and get the same results.
Sure. No, this is a great question. So again, so you need to realize the nature's way, or let's say that if you were to eat a perfect diet rich in berries and nuts and fruits like pomegranates, you would be getting these sort of dietary precursors in your diet that your body will then sort of metabolize. But the second key factor is our gut microbiome, and that's absolutely key. And it turns out that only about 30 to 40% of the adult population has the right gut microbiome. I don't have it. And so I can drink 6 liters of pomegranate juice and my body will not make Urolithin A. And so what we as a company found a way is to basically short circuit this long, tedious, and dependent on what you are eating and what your gut microbiome is constituted of. We decided to basically provide the gut metabolite directly as a nutritional supplement, as a advanced nutrition product.
Yes, and so thank you to you, and thank you to everyone on the team for creating this. You guys, I personally am also one of the people that cannot produce that. My gut isn't built that way either, and I want to just point out to people that sometimes it's just the way we're built. It's just the way we're made up. I mean, you could be doing all the right things with your diet and still not be one of the people that can process and metabolize it in such a way that you will maximize what you're taking in when it comes to those particular molecules and compounds. So I'm thrilled to know that I can take Mitopure and I'm maximizing the input that I'm putting into my body and the effort. So grateful for what you guys are doing. And I'm really excited because of this beautiful partnership. I get to share a special code with all of you guys, and you can share it with everyone. And we have it in my link in bio, and we actually have it under our longevity trusted resources. So many of you know that I have a series with Dr. David Sinclair, who is the world's leading expert on longevity, and we have some trusted resources that we share. And so Mitopure is one of them for me. And so we'll have that discount code there, link in bio. Also, anywhere that you see our optimized longevity trusted resources, you'll have that code for a special discount, and we'll announce it towards the end of our chat today. So, okay, so back to you, Dr. Singh, back to timeline. You spent all these years researching that science and technology. It's a specific approach, and I love this approach. And can you talk a little bit more about why you guys did it this way?
Yeah, I mean, this is the sort of, if you look around at most nutrition companies out there, they sort of go with the know-how, right? Put a bunch of minerals and vitamins together and start selling products. We actually spent, as I mentioned, 15 years before we, got to the level of comfort with our clinical and scientific evidence that we said, okay, now this is the time to provide the world with the health benefits of this molecule. And so we started initially working with the Swiss Institute of Technology here, where we worked with a very famous professor, Johan Obrix, who's actually worked with Dave Sinclair in a number of other collaborations. And Johan Obrix had discovered resveratrol and some NAD precursors that also boost mitochondrial health before. And when we thought that this Urolithin A was one of the molecules that was probably responsible for the health benefits of fruits such as pomegranate, we gave it to him, and he came back running to us and said, wow, this is extending the lifespan of worms by 40%. And when I give it to older animals, they're running 50% more. What is this? And so we started taking a deeper look into it, and then that's how the journey. And then we invested a lot of time in running randomized clinical trials where we showed that what this compound is hitting is a very specific process called mitophagy, which is involved in improvement of mitochondrial health. And that's how we've come. It's a long journey to get to to where we are today.
Yes, and that's a key phrase that I associate with you guys, with Timeline Nutrition, with Mitopure, is mitophagy, which is basically autophagy of your mitochondria. And Dr. Singh can really break that down a little bit more, the science of it. What I wanted to highlight to everyone here is, you guys know me, and I'm so particular, and and especially about my partners and products that I use, and I have so much respect for the level of research that you guys have done before this product came to market. And for me, it's just I feel like everybody needs to do it this way, and so I just wanted to really highlight that. It's a congratulations and just an acknowledgement of the work that you guys have been doing. We had a couple of questions, and I know we typically save questions till the end, but there was one that I felt was important. It's, how can people test for this? That it's a question that popped up a few times, and a question that I got already text to me when we made the announcement is, how do you even know? And then of course we'll field more questions towards the end.
Yeah, sure. So we can get to this one. This is something that's very close to my heart as well, because I always believe that good nutrition should be accompanied with good sort of health and wellness diagnostic tools that allow you to know your body better before you can start eating or supplementing with certain foods and nutrients. And so what we basically invented is a very simple test using sort of a little blood test that you prick your finger and put a few blood spots on a filter paper. And then you basically can do it's called the Mitopure challenge, and it's actually
Yeah.
an ongoing clinical study in which
Yeah.
folks are welcome to participate in. And so what you get basically is a at-home sort of setup where you get a kit, very nicely looking kit, and you can drink yourself pomegranate juice and see if your body naturally is making urolithin A, or if you're a urolithin A producer. And then that's one blood draw you do, and then you take the timeline product, just one timeline product, and then a few hours after, 6 hours after, you bleed yourself again with a few blood draws, and you send to our lab, and our lab can tell you first, if you are urolithin A producer, and what benefit, sort of what change in blood levels you can get with the timeline product. So I think this is the kind of science and diagnostic that needs to happen in nutrition, even in vitamin C, right? Everybody says drink 4 orange equivalent of orange juice to get enough vitamin C, but not everybody is absorbing vitamin C the same way. So I think this is very key, and that's what we're bringing to the table: good science with good sort of health and wellness care.
Yes, and I absolutely agree. And again, why I love working with you guys, we're so in alignment about how that should be done. When I work, as my community knows, with people, it's you have to do your labs. You have to know how your body is working from the inside out before you know how to address these concerns, and the best way about it. So it's such a simple test. People are asking about the Mitopure challenge. We can definitely save that towards the end, but definitely go to Timeline Nutrition at the bottom here where I've pinned the comment. Go to their website, check it out. You'll have a code, and it'll be so easy. And it's literally as easy as that. Someone did have a question about whether or not they could do the test if they were diabetic. Dr. Singh, I mean,
yeah, you can do the test. A very simple test. You just have to put 3-4 drops of blood on a filter paper, and that's about it. And you need to do that twice, so you can definitely do that if you're diabetic.
Yeah, and no worries on that. And you guys, it really is so simple, and you'll be so glad that you did it. And then and you'll know where to begin. So we were talking about mitophagy, and we're talking about why that, to me, at this point, is synonymous with mitopure, at least in my language and the language that I'm putting forth.
Yeah.
Just as a refresher for everyone who might not have done a lot of science growing up or in school, let's talk a little bit about mitochondria and why mitophagy matters, and maybe even what mitophagy is for some people that need a bit of a refresher.
Sure. For that, just a quick background on mitochondria. So mitochondria are basically like the batteries in your phone or in a Tesla car. Think of them like that. If over time you're using them too much and not charging them, the energy goes down. And so what happens as we age is basically that as we are aging, our mitochondria are accumulating oxidative stress and free radicals, and they become damaged. And so what the body has inherent anti-aging pathway, and that's called mitophagy, which means it's like your garbage disposal machinery, right, in your body. So all this stress and cell garbage is being sort of recycled and being used as building blocks. What happens also again with aging is that mitophagy declines with aging, and so your body cannot clean away the bad, faulty mitochondria very efficiently, and that's why a lot of people have problems with their muscles and with their neuronal function, because that's where you have the most highest abundance of mitochondria. And so what this molecule urolithin A does is basically activates and revs up mitophagy, which means that there's much faster garbage disposal happening, and much that allows cleaner, newer, healthy mitochondria to basically give you more energy. And that's what it is basically.
And here in this community, we talk about different ways that you can trigger that, different ways you can trigger autophagy. We've talked about those sort of short bursts of stress. You can do intermittent fasting, caloric restriction. I mean, there's different ways. But again, I'm always about finding ways to support your body that are super simple. That's so easy. And what you guys have done is you've been able to create this supplement that you can just take every morning, either before or after breakfast, sometime in the morning, and that's sometimes what I do. But you've also created this powder in these little sachets, which I love because being a chef and nutritionist, I'm always trying to figure out. I have some clients who have what's it, supplement, but not supplement fatigue. They have capsule fatigue. So I think everyone's up the number of supplements they've been taking ever since COVID. So some people have capsule fatigue, and they want to be able to take in those good benefits in a different way. And you guys have created actually a really yummy sachet with that I can put into drinks. So drinks, smoothies, different ways. They call this the mitochondrial revitalizer. I have it in the back with me, but I just wanted to share with you guys because I get that inbound a lot. I have a hard time taking, supplements. I have a hard time. So for those of you that do, there's another way, and it's delicious. And I put it in my teas, my yogurt, my chia puddings, my smoothies. There are all different ways that I use it. And I'm actually playing around with it so I can create some fun recipes for you guys with it too. So let's talk about that as well, Dr. Singh, just how you're able to put this compound, how we're able to allow people to take it in these different formats, and how that works in our body. And for some people, whether or not they have capsule fatigue or not, does it matter if they ingest it via a drink, if they ingest it via a capsule? In this case, it's more like a liquid gel. Does it matter?
Sure. No, another great question, and this is a question I've got a lot of times from consumers as well. So we have done, when we started out sort of the whole clinical development and the clinical trials around this molecule, we tested it in pills, we tested it in powders, we put it in yogurts with high protein matrix. And every time we saw, this is a very robust molecule, so we saw similar bioavailability. We run actually clinical studies comparing the two, and you get identical bioavailability. And so, good health should come with good tasty nutrition. And so a lot of people prefer to take pills, as you were mentioning, they are okay in taking multiple sort of a polypharmacy model. Yeah. And then there are people who like to have a good experience that comes with good health. And so we have this berry powder. And then what this compound does is it improves muscle health, and it improves the bioenergetics of the muscle. And if you look in the muscle space, the number one sort of nutrient people have been using is high protein supplementation. And so we have a third product that actually combines the two. So it combines the benefits of high protein to build muscle mass, and then Mitopure, which then boosts your muscle strength and energy of the existing muscle. And so together, I think these three complete our whole portfolio of products. And of course, we are developing the kit as we talked about.
Yes. And I don't have that product in front of me to show you guys, but go to the website, go to Timeline Nutrition, check out Mitopure, and check out their suite of products. They are incredible. And as we're talking about, Dr. Singh was talking about the combination, I'd like to just circle back a little bit and talk about our gut health and the combination of probiotics, postbiotics, prebiotics, all these things. How does this work synergistically together? How can we as a consumer of Mitopure, how can we really support and up-level that? If we could just talk about that for a minute.
Yeah, sure. So the way I see this is Urolithin A is basically a postbiotic, right? So you need to eat right. So you need to provide the right. So prebiotics are nothing but good food for a healthy gut, right? To promote a healthy gut. And then probiotics is basically the science of seeding your gut with better, healthier bacterial sort of communities. But that's all for the ecosystem of the gut microbiome. The end result of the healthy gut and what you're eating is basically what these gut bacteria end up making, which is beneficial to the host, which is us, right? And so that's the concept of postbiotic, and that's what Urolithin A is basically. It's evolution from evolution. It's we have been eating a lot of berries and nuts, and our gut microbiome has evolved, and some of us have lost it, like me, I guess, with a lot of antibiotic usage, growing up in India, I guess. And so we can make this, and so we do need this sort of nutrient, which is a postbiotic.
Yeah, and again, it's you guys will find out more. We have a lot of questions about inventory for the supplements, where you can say we'll save those questions towards the end. It's great for you to drop them here because Tamla may be able to answer those questions directly while we're on here. I really want the community to understand that if you're one of the people that you can't do this, you can't metabolize this, I don't want you to feel like there's anything wrong or that you did anything wrong. Our gut biome changes when we move. It changes if we have been under a lot of stress. It changes when we've had to take medication. It changes for different reasons. And the most important part of that is that once you realize if you're someone that can't do that, here we have something that can help you out. Here we have something that can really support your body. And it's as simple as taking a couple capsules or using this super yummy berry drink that you can mix in a bunch of different things, or the protein, which I just saw was sold out. So when it's not sold out, you'll be able to get it. But there's these different ways that we can support our body. And that's something that it's one of the big takeaways that I'd like to have here. And as always, is that these are ways we can help our bodies do what it's designed and built to do. And always so grateful for that. And there were a couple of studies too that you had mentioned earlier. If you could kind of maybe dive into that to sort of, lend some,
Sure. Happy to do that. So, we started out really looking at sort of the whole spectrum of aging, and what we want to do basically is improve the health span, and mobility and muscle performance stood out as sort of one of the biggest organs that impact quality of life. So we started focusing on muscle health, and so we first gave this in a randomized double-blind placebo-controlled trial, and this was published in Nature Metabolism, which is one of the top journals, where we showed that this molecule given for 4 weeks was starting to hit the biology of mitochondria. So when we took muscle biopsies, for example, and we compared them to people who were running marathons for all their life at 70 years, we saw similar signatures, much like what you were saying, that sort of mitochondrial health can be improved by exercise and sort of intermittent fasting. And from there, we went and we did 2 bigger randomized, double-blind randomized placebo-controlled trials, one in 40 to 64-year-old middle-aged population, which, much like you and me, we want to move, we want to run, but we always have less time. And so we wanted to see if this molecule would have a health promoting effect in that population. And then in a second trial, we went after older adults. And in both the trials, what we see basically is in older adults, we were able to improve by about 20% the resistance to fatigue. And this is all in the absence of exercise. So in a sort of a healthy, non-exercising population, taking this for 2 to 4 months improved muscle endurance and improved energy. And when we did the study in middle-aged population, which again was not exercising, was a bit overweight, what we saw basically was that we improved muscle strength in the legs and the hamstrings, and people tended to sort of have better aerobic endurance, which we measure as something called VO2 max. So together, all these studies, they are now published in JAMA and in Cell Press, what showed us that the signature that we have been seeing for the last 10 plus years in different models of biology and muscle health are now being shown in different human populations.
That and when you're doing even more research, aren't you furthering other areas of research as well? I'd love if we could share about that too. I mean, maybe we'll eventually have a follow-up, but for now, I'd love for the community to know that's just the first step with what you guys are doing.
Yeah, this is again great sort of follow-up to that. Research, I was always taught by my mentors, research is 2 words, research, right? So you always have to keep, this is the first start. We are investing more into science and research and clinical trials. We're actually running in Australia with the Australian Institute of Sport a study now in elite athletes with one of the lead professors in sports. And the whole idea is even in elite athletes with overtraining, there's mitochondrial dysfunction that happens. And the second trial we are running basically is what happens if you get injured. If you're a very fit person, but suddenly you have an accident and you have a cast that immobilizes you for a few months, that induces mitochondrial dysfunction. So how can we, recover people faster and their muscle health faster? So that's another trial we're doing. And of course, we are looking at other areas such as immune health, because mitochondria are just not in muscle cells; they're also a key component to immune health.
Yes, absolutely. And I know that there was even some work that you guys were doing with post-cancer, patients with
Yeah,
post-cancer.
so that's exactly a grant that we just won to do a trial in post-cancer fatigue, which is basically a population that has recovered from cancer, but they have issues with their immune health, they have issues with fatigue. And so now what we're trying to see is the impact this molecule will have in this set of the population.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. On a personal note, I haven't yet started my mama on that, but on Mitopure, she just recently had some medical issues and was in the hospital and had a diagnosis that puts her in that space. And so now that we're I'm doing her protocol, of course, and excited to put her on this as well and to see how she feels. So I'll have a lot of anecdotal data from my own circles, but very excited to share that as well with my community and keep them posted on that. So this has been amazing, Dr. Singh. I hope you have a couple more minutes because we have some questions I would really love to circle back to, and I would love for you to be the one to answer. We know that it's better to sort of take in the morning if you can. Now, some people fast. So if people are intermittent fasting and they're not not consuming breakfast, can they take this without food? Does the protein or these little sachets, will that break their fast? So some of those questions.
Sure. So all our clinical studies are done. The intake has been in the morning in the fasted state. So the pills are fine. They have basically no calories. The berry product, if at all, has minimal, like 10 or something calories. Yes, if you're on a fast, maybe avoid the protein product because that will give you the calories and will break your fast. So I would stick then to the pills and the berries.
And
so if you're working out, go ahead.
No, go ahead, please.
No, and a lot of people, tend to see, the doses we are seeing the best effects are about 500 milligrams starting to a gram. Of course, what you get in the sachet or 2 pills equivalent is about 500 milligrams. A lot of people are experimenting by upping the dose and this even better effects at about a gram, and they split the dose sometimes. They take 2 in the morning and 2 in the evening, or some people take I think it's about giving it a few months to see what happens to how your body starts feeling the change in energy and the bioenergetics, and then adapting. The science shows that 500 in a gram taken in the morning works, but of course we need to do more research to understand what happens if you do twice a day, or if you break the the morning, then you come back again in the afternoon with another dose. So this is ongoing on our side.
Absolutely. And then it's also to just add in that on an individual basis, you also just need to be a bit attuned to your body and how your body responds to it. For some people, when they take certain supplements, whether it's even something like NMN, taking it later in the day may offset their circadian rhythm a little bit. So just keeping that in mind, that's another reason why we usually recommend these type of supplements being taken earlier in the day. Someone asked a question, Dr. Singh. What is the stability of urolithin A in real time and accelerated conditions? I thought that was a good.
Well, that's a great technical question.
Yeah.
Thanks for asking. We have done stability studies for over 3+ years, and what we have seen is that this is a very robust molecule. So you can take pills that have been lying around for a while, and you'll still get the same levels of urolithin A that if you were to take the same sort of pills from a year back or 2 years back. So it's a very stable, robust molecule. It's a natural compound, so it survives the whole gut digestion and all the acid environment in the stomach. So that's the beauty of this molecule.
Yeah, no, and again, thank you to our audience member who asked that question. I thought that was a great question. Thank you for answering that, Dr. Singh.
Sure.
Okay, so I know that there were some comments of some products that were sold out. I would say just start. You know, if you're thinking about, I'll add this to my smoothie for my after morning workouts or such, and it's sold out, try these sachets, these berry sachets. They're super yummy, and you can put them in your protein smoothies, whether it's plant-based or not, and they're delicious, and there's a bunch of different ways you can have them. As I said, I have them with kind of like a tea. I have them with my yogurt. I have them in the smoothie. You can have them in bowls, fruit bowls. There's a few other ways I'm playing with that I'll share with you guys that I like to enjoy as well. Or you can just do the supplements in the meantime while you're waiting for something to come into stock. Because if you want to really kind of do it proper, you want to do it every day for 30 days to really see how your body attunes to it, to feel the effects. And then, as Dr. Singh said, to see if you need to adjust. Maybe you'll go up to 1,000. And so start, and you have a code. It's just my name, Serena, and you can also go to the link in bio. You can go to the link in bio, and where it says optimize longevity, like these are trusted resources, Mitopure is right there at the top of the list. And when you click on that, you'll also have a link to that discount. So I'm really excited. I'm so excited to meet you. I'm excited to meet you in person, I hope soon. Where are you located?
I'm located out of Lausanne, Switzerland, close to Lake Geneva here.
Oh, wow. Okay, so I'll go to you. Because that sounds a lot more exciting. I mean, I'm very blessed for where I live. I'm in LA, but Lake Geneva, it sounds a bit more exciting right now than.
Beautiful here. Most welcome. We'll be happy to host you.
Okay, so do you have anything else that you'd like to share with the audience? Does anyone have any more questions? People are talking about stacking. That might be something I can address in a blog, or I'm not sure right here, because we talk about other supplements and other, especially longevity type of supplements, and people want to know about stacking. I would say you can stack Mitopure with certain activities, like what we were talking about before. Short bursts of stress, caloric restriction, high interval training, hot and cold, and these are ways that you can stack the benefits of Mitopure when you're talking about stacking your longevity practices. Dr. Singh, do you have anything to add to that?
No, I think I see a lot of questions about other mitochondrial supplements like CoQ10 and maybe NAD boosters. I think again, back to the whole story where the story began, was this is a very unique natural compound that hits a totally unique pathway in mitochondrial biology, which is mitophagy. So CoQ10, for example, hits how a healthy mitochondria can produce more energy, or the NAD boosters are impacting biogenesis, which means more new mitochondria. What makes Urolithin A or Mitopure so unique is that it hits mitophagy. So you have to clean out the waste for newer, healthy mitochondria to come in, and we do see biogenesis in our studies with this molecule. So yeah, I just wanted to add that.
No, and I'm so glad you did. It was something that we had mentioned at the very beginning and then kind of throughout. And that's the most important thing about this product. You know, they're the ones that, I mean, Mitopure, mitophagy, almost synonymous. Not sure if I'm allowed to say that, but I did. And that's kind of good to keep in the back of your mind when you are, you know, comparing it to other supplements, that maybe the end game is sort of the same, but what each thing does is different. And they're basically the only ones that do this. And they're the best. So if you guys have other questions, please go ahead and drop it into the comments, or feel free to go ahead and reach out to Timeline, reach out to me, and we can get those questions answered. But I'm super excited about this. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Singh, and I'll see you guys really soon.
Thank you, Serena. Bye.
All right, take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.